the University of McGill has for some years operated active laboratories on the island of Barbados. Because of general climatic conditions, its nearness to the geomagnetic equator, and the cooperation of the government of Barbados, Paragon near Sewell Airport, Christchurch, was selected as the site for the high altitude research, a project combined operation of McGill University and the United States Research Office. Several laboratories, universities and organizations in Canada, the United States, the United Kingdom, assisted in this project, the brainchild of McGill's Dr. Gerald Bull, to prove that guns could be used to explore the upper atmosphere and outer space more cheaply than rockets, and to collect valuable aerodynamic data. Early in August 1962, Lieutenant Colonel U.D. Page beach-landed at Foul Bay about 700 tons of equipment, including 2 naval guns of 140 tons each. This operation was the first of its type undertaken by the Transportation Corps of the United States Army. The equipment was railroaded up Foul Bay Hill and across country to Paragon, a difficult job tackled with courage and determination. In the following months, day and night preparations were made for the big shot. The firing control blockhouse was built and the magazine sighted. Telecommunication points were established. Recording stations were linked to the high-speed cameras near the gun recording the space shot. Workers showed a renewed burst of joy. As the day of the first test approached, cameramen and journalists from various parts of the world flew in to record one of the greatest scientific events in the history of the island. They came from the National Film Board of Canada, from the United States, from Time and Life magazines. The Barbados Film Unit was also there. Major General Chester Clark of the United States Army Research Office and Dean Mordell of the Faculty of Engineering at McGill were among the officials at Paragon. Interest in this 68-foot monster was worldwide. The gun was capable of launching a 200-pound vehicle 200 miles up into the blue. The first shot fired was to test its efficiency in firing from a near vertical position at full charge, somewhat greater than was originally planned. For the 30 Barbadians at work on the project, here was an adventure indeed. Still fresh in their memories lay the landing of the gun and the anxious moment during the long haul up the steep gradient at Foul Bay, an experience which resulted in the McGill Calypso, "It Won't Move No More." For them, the next stage, Operation Shot, was near. Previous attempts to collect data at such altitudes and by other means had furnished but little information. Martlet 1 was considered an ideal vehicle for this purpose. Made of steel tubing and aluminium, the Martlet weighs about 470 pounds. In the nose cone are electronic measuring devices, ballast and power supply. These devices telemeter scientific data back to ground receiving stations. The experiment of putting such payloads to high altitudes would also provide valuable scientific information on the Earth's atmosphere, important to research programs. The Martlet, with its protective sabot, is then placed in the trough of the gun in preparation for loading. When the shot is fired, the wooden sabot separates and leaves the missile to make its lonely journey miles up into the sky. Now, the great moment draws near. An M33 radar furnishes data on cloud coverage, determines the range and bearing, skin tracks the Martlet and the impact from the splash. The area for 120 miles around is cleared of aircraft and ships. Now it's all systems go.
45 seconds. 0 minus 30. Zero minus 15. Five, four, three, two, one, fire!
Martlet 1A, 475 pounds, 14 miles up and recovered 8 miles offshore. Bull's eye. The Thanksgiving service at St. Mary's Church, Bridgetown, was one of many held throughout the West Indies to mark a special occasion. After a sponsorship of 14 years by the University of London, independence was granted the University College of the West Indies. A new chapter in the educational progress of the West Indies was started. Graduates of UWI and older universities, members of the Privy Council, the Barbados Cabinet, both houses of legislature, representatives of many organizations and distinguished citizens attended the service. The founding of the college at Mona, Jamaica, was a result of the Irving Commission of 1943. Previously, West Indian students desiring higher education had to travel to Europe, to Canada, and to the United States of America, away from their tropical setting at tremendous costs. Now, students from the entire area, including British Honduras and British Guiana, study in familiar surroundings. Their numbers have increased over the years. The quality of their work is on a par with that of the older universities, and in keeping with the requirements of a developing nation. Another important event that marked the independence of the University of the West Indies was the opening of the extra-mural centre at the Pine, Barbados, on Thursday, 31st of January 1963. Her Royal Highness Princess Alice, the Countess of Athlone, who is Chancellor of the University, was there to grace the occasion. The Honourable J.C. Tudor, Minister of Education, paid fitting tribute to the work of the first West Indian principal, Dr. Arthur Lewis. In her speech, Her Royal Highness described the centre as not merely a monument to the spirit of enterprise, characteristic of the people of the West Indies, but also as an integral part of the University of the West Indies. This bore witness to the enlightened policy of extending the benefits of higher education far beyond the boundaries of one or two islands. The main address was delivered by Professor Contact, Professor of Political Science at Xavier University, Nova Scotia. The Director of Extramural Studies, Mr. Fred Phillips, in his vote of thanks, described the building as a centre for culture and education. Her Royal Highness unveiled a plaque and declared the Assembly Hall open after a tour of the $96,000 centre. Another first for Barbados, the first of its kind in the West Indies. The educational value of an observatory in a sea-girt island like Barbados can hardly be overemphasized. It could hardly have been built at a more interesting time than this, when the secrets of space research are being unlocked. These were the words of His Excellency the Governor at the opening of the Harry Bailey Observatory and Planetarium on the 28th of January 1963 to an audience of about 300. The observatory at Clapham, St. Michael, headquarters of the Barbados Astronomical Society, is a dream of the late Dr. Harry Bailey come true. The land on which it stands is a gift from a former Chief Justice of the island, Sir Alan Collymore. For young people, there can be no better manner of satisfying intellectual curiosity than by adding to their knowledge of the universe. It was this intellectual curiosity that led to the opening of new frontiers in science and the dawn of the space age. The 12.5-inch diameter reflector telescope has provision for several pieces of different magnification ranges. A camera can also be attached for photographing the heavens. Automatically driven motors allow the telescope to follow the course of the stars. The observatory itself, an attractive building, commands a panoramic view of the south coast of the island. The Society boasts a membership of over 200 and continues to grow. Lectures and demonstrations in astrology and allied subjects are given weekly to the general public who attend in large numbers. As the project develops, lectures will also be given in navigation. These could be of great interest to Barbados yachtsmen, fishermen, and air-minded youngsters. Without doubt, the space exploration program in which the leading nations are at present engaged have sparked off tremendous interest in astronomical studies all over the world, both in professional as well as in amateur circles. The observatory's telescope is put to excellent use by members of the Barbados Astronomical Society, and there is a hope that the planetarium projector will be in operation in 1964. The pale moon, which from the beginning has provided a theme for poets and a setting for lovers, is a fascinating study for the astronomer, a mystery and a delight to children. Nothing changes on the moon, a desert of fantastic rocks and mountains. In past ages, a goddess who ruled the destinies of men, but now only a distant object in space to be peered at, shot at, and someday invaded. A pilot scheme to give hot meals to children attending government schools in Barbados got underway in March 1963. Pupils of the Westbury Infant and Junior Schools, St. Michael, the St. Christopher Schools, Christchurch, and the St. Clement Schools in the parish of St. Lucy were the first to participate in this scheme. Taking part in the opening ceremonies were educationists, teachers, parents, and ministers of religion who asked God's blessing on the venture. During the course of his address, the Minister of Education pointed out that his government regarded the Hot Meals project with as much interest and attention as was given other important aspects of educational policy, and that this pilot scheme would be subjected to the closest scrutiny before a similar program embracing all schools was undertaken. At each center, pupils took the chief role in the inaugural ceremony. It was their day. Their mid-morning snack of milk and biscuits gave place to hot meals of high nutritional value. Because many of the administrative problems were anticipated, the scheme was off to a good start. A major problem for school authorities was making sure from the very beginning of the program that schools' timetables were not upset. To secure maximum efficiency, much care went into the selection and training of the kitchen staff. Locally grown foods selected for their particular food values contributed to the daily meals. Oh, to be a nipper again. The meals are A-type and follow the American pattern for balanced lunches. The Ministry of Agriculture cooperates in producing vegetables and fruit for this scheme. Sugary beets in abundance, carrots and butter beans are among the vegetable produce grown at the agricultural stations throughout the island to make the project workable within certain financial limits. Meals are served in steel trays with divisions. A typical meal may consist of one serving of rice, a slice of sweet potato, beans, carrots or tomatoes, cabbages, lettuce, a mixture of beef and pork stew, and, of course, fruit. Children pay 10 cents for a meal, and on the first day of the scheme at one of the centers, 72% of the children made use of the service. A most encouraging feature was the enthusiasm with which the scheme was received by parents. Some of them in attendance on the first day volunteered their services to assist in the daily washing of the catering utensils. The enjoyment of this hot meal, the first pilot scheme of its kind in the history of Barbados, must have been a rewarding satisfaction to government officials, parents, and pupils alike.